So from phase one, we had really just drawn some lines, but when we start to check back, we'll see that our lengths really aren't accurate. We haven't given any lengths for the lines. It's just not a good drawing in any sense of the term. It gives us an opportunity, though, to understand and learn about lines, rectangles, whatever else we're doing. And as you see on the screen here, a driveway of 3.5 feet wide, well, that don't work. Maybe for a motorcycle, but even then that's pretty slim. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that for assignment phase 2. I'm going to edit, select all, delete. I've added some text on the right hand side, so I will use Shift and click on them, and that deselects them from the rest of it. So when I do hit delete, my text will stay on there. That's to guide me in the next steps. We'll start with line. We'll pick our start point, and I won't use the axis origin. And as I show it direction, you can also see the length is shown down there in the measurements box. I'll type in 100 feet and enter, and it goes off the screen. Wonderbar. Now, to fix that, we use zoom and pan. Zoom is the scroll bar in the middle of your mouse, and pan, of course, hold Shift, and that allows you, with the center button on the mouse, to move it around. But you can also pick them off the top of the screen. Now we'll go on the green axis. We'll type in 60 feet. Sure enough, it goes off the screen, so we'll use pan again, maybe a little bit of zoom. We'll show it the red axis, type in 100 feet, and then we'll just close it down to the bottom. There's our property at 60 feet by 100 feet. The figure is closed. For the building, for the house, I'm not going to start it anywhere particularly, but again on the red axis we'll type in 40 feet, because it's 40 feet deep from front to back. It's 25 feet across the front. Instead of typing in a number this time, we're going to infer the length to the back of the house by pointing out to the other line in the corner, and it infers that distance, and then we just close it off. Makes it really simple in trying to draw things. Now we'll zoom and pan again just to bring this into a little more usable space. I want to add the sidewalk in. As you can see there, it's 18 inches from the property. In order to do that, we'll select the property line. Then we'll use Move Copy, which on PC is the Move and the Shift or Control key. We'll give it direction. Type in 18. We don't have to type in inches because the units of the default template that we're using is in inches. I'll do it again. This time I'll type in 4 feet or 48, and that gives me my sidewalk. To get the boulevard, I don't have a distance for the boulevard. We didn't measure. We'll just put something in there. Then I'm going to zoom in. You'll see that it zooms around the point where my cursor is. I'll copy that line 6 inches over, and I have my property, sidewalk, and curb. Next, I want to put the porch on, so we can start with 3 lines. Of course, we'll give it direction on the axis in this case. Type in 6 feet, go down, type in 8 feet, go across. When it touches, the inference and snaps, they work really well to show us where we are. Or I just undid. I'm going to use the rectangle tool. Now, down in the bottom right here, you'll see what's happening, and you get 2 dimensions. One is longer and one is shorter. So I can tell the longer dimension in this particular case would be the X. And so when I type in my X and Y, 6 feet, 8 feet, enter, I will have my porch in the same order as it shows in the measurements down there. I'm using the select, move, and copy again as we did before, and moving my front of my stairway out 1 foot or 12 inches. That's the tread depth, which is the top of the step which you walk on. We could now take this line and copy it down to give the narrower steps some edging. But I'm going to try something different here, and that's using the tape tool to build a construction line or a guide. And I've made it 24 inches, so you click on the line, move up 24 inches. Once that's in there, we have intersections we can use to draw lines. I'm drawing the edge of the steps now in plan view. I'm erasing the extraneous lines, and I'll erase my guides. And basically the steps are done. To draw the front walk-in, I'll draw across 4 feet and enter. I'll draw down this time and infer the corner of the building. Once I've done that, I come back and it infers the front of the step, if I'm careful and slow. Then I'm going to draw a line for the driveway. I'll take it out to the inside edge of the curb. And then I'll select those segments of line I want to copy and move for the other side of the driveway. So I'm using move copy here. From that corner out, I want to say 10 feet in this particular case. What I'm going to do now is just draw some lines to finish off the driveway. There are no dimensions for this, but the driveway goes a little bit past the front edge of the house. For the fence, it extends from the corner of the building down to the property line, and then somewhere along here I'm going to draw a 6-inch line into the property line. Just give it direction, type in 6 inches. Now we're going to finish this fence, because it's a little different thing, using offset. So I've selected the 2 lines. I'll click, I'll draw inwards, I'll type 6 inches, and I have an exactly 6-inch offset. It's closed at all those ends. It is a figure, which we'll find out later on how that works. I just clicked on plan view. You can see my plan view doesn't work properly anymore. I still have to zoom and pan in order to get it on the screen correctly. For the next step, I want to erase that extra line of driveway going through the sidewalk. The sidewalk, in most cases, takes precedent over the driveway. I'm going to show you some dimensions to prove we've done it right. 40 feet there, 25 feet there. We can just check the driveway width, 10 feet, there it is. Check the porch, 8 feet, there it is. Yep, doing it right. So these dimensions are being used in SketchUp, but this is not the normal way. I just use this to kind of check things out. You'll see that using dimensions on a line doesn't work. You have to go from endpoints. I'll try it again. No, don't work. It's just showing me the length of the line. You'll notice too that the text item itself is always the same size. When you zoom away from the drawing, it doesn't look very good because the text stays big. It fills up the space. It gets awkward. It seems to be attached to the screen, and that's why we don't use text from SketchUp in layout. We'll be showing you all of this later on. Now I'm going to save the file, and we're ready for phase 3, which is layout. So this is an alternative to doing just the sketch that we did before without any dimension to it at all.